Welcome, fellow entrepreneurs, to the Entrepreneur Adventure Podcast, where we talk about Amazon wholesale and how you can use it to build an e-commerce empire, a side hustle, or anything in between. And now, your host, Todd Welch.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to This Week in Amazon News. I'm your host, Todd Welch, and in this episode, we have some really big news, from some buy box issues to more news on Walmart challenging Amazon, to perhaps your personal information being shown on Amazon if you are a seller, and much more. Definitely going to want to stay tuned for this one. Show notes and the transcript can be found at entrepreneuradventure.com/32, as well as links to all of the news that we talk about in this episode. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into the news. So first up here is some big news on the buy box if you are a seller. So the buy box, of course, is the person who is currently selling an item on Amazon. And this information is coming from Amazon Sellers ASGTG, which is a Amazon seller group that puts out some really good news, and found this on their Twitter feed here. And it says, alert, Amazon BB not rotating properly since July 1st, many sellers losing sales. And I have heard reports of this from other places as well. I'm not having too many problems that I know of, but basically what is going on is it seems like the buy box is stuck. So if someone is in the buy box and you match their price, it's not rotating that buy box like normal. So you may go from getting a bunch of sales on an item and then all of a sudden now you're not getting any. Now, this could be happening to me. I just haven't noticed it. I've got like over 300 products, so it's hard to look at all of them all the time. But I've heard in different Facebook groups, people having this problem where their buy box percentages have been going from like 30% of the rotation down to 0 or 1%. Before they were getting like 30 sales per day, and now they're getting like 1 or 2 or 5 handful of sales per day. So it's definitely a big issue. I've actually heard of some people, they're not sending in product because they're worried that they're not getting any sales. So it's definitely something you want to be worried about and aware of, because you don't want to overstock. But at the same time, you don't want to stop sending in product and stop selling on Amazon. Like I've seen some people say that they're just going to stop, or should they stop until this blows over? And Amazon knows this is an issue. It was happening earlier before as well, and they fixed it pretty quickly. So I have no doubt that they will fix it again. They know that it's a problem and that they need to fix it. It's most likely just some kind of bug that is going on in the system and will be fixed sooner rather than later. So if you're being affected by this, don't let it stop you from continuing doing what you're doing, selling your products, finding more products, sending more products in. Because when this is fixed, you're going to wish you would not have done that once this is fixed. So I would just keep moving forward like normal. Order your product based off of your sales velocity history and send that product in so that you are ready when this gets fixed. Hopefully sooner rather than later. As of the recording of this, which is July 9th, it's still an issue. Hopefully by the time this goes live, maybe it might even be fixed, but it's been an issue and I wanted to let you guys know about it for sure. So, all right, next up, this headline is from GeekWire. It's Amazon is purging Washington Redskins merchandise from its marketplace. So it says, Amazon told third-party sellers in its marketplace they have 48 hours to remove Washington Redskins merchandise amid widespread calls for the football team to change its name from a racial slur against Native Americans. That's an opinion. Amazon notified sellers of the change Wednesday, according to CNBC. Amazon is one of several brands that will stop carrying the team's merchandise as the NFL and sponsors call for the name to be changed FedEx, which owns the naming rights to the team's home stadium, is among the sponsors putting pressure on the franchise. Basically, as it says there, if you sell any Washington Redskins merchandise, you are basically out of luck by the time you're viewing this. Those are going to be taken down. You have to have them off there. Now, we could dive into the name change. I've heard opinions all over the board, from it's a racial slur, as this article says, which is their opinion, and to, we shouldn't change it because it's not offensive. I've read an article that 9 out of 10 Native Americans are not offended by it. So, personally, I don't see it as a big issue, but if they decide to change the name, that's fine. I don't really care a whole lot. It's not going to affect my life very much if they do change it. But as far as the third-party sellers having to take down their merchandise, I think that is completely ridiculous. It's not something illegal that they're doing. It's an opinion from, in my opinion, probably more white people than Native American people. But forcing sellers to take this down, or take their merchandise down that they may have spent hundreds or thousands, tens of thousands of dollars, maybe even more for this merchandise that they have in there, is not acceptable, in my opinion. They could at least let them know that, okay, this is going to happen. You need to sell through this merchandise. You have until the end of the month, or 30 days or 60 days or something like that, because most of our sellers carry between 30 and 60 days worth of stock of inventory. So to give people 48 hours to get rid of their merchandise is just very ridiculous. And it sounds like Walmart and Target and some other companies are doing this as well. So definitely not cool. I am glad I don't sell any NFL merchandise. I would never sell any NFL merchandise because they are known to be very rude and mean to people who are selling their products that they don't want to sell their products. So I'm not a big fan of the NFL currently, especially in the seller marketplace. I wouldn't touch their products with a 10-foot pole. So glad I don't sell any. If you sell any, I feel really bad. eBay, from what I know, is not banned the sale of Washington Redskins merchandise. So you could unload it there. Facebook Marketplace, perhaps, or maybe hang on to it, because this stuff is probably going to end up being a collector's product down the line if the name change actually happens and you still have Washington Redskins merchandise or cards or whatever. The value of that's probably going to go up in the future because those will be disappearing. You're not going to be able to get new ones. So it's potentially an investment. Maybe you could hang on to that product and sell it a year down the line or something like that, and make some really good money on it. There'll be some place that you can sell it. Even if they ban it on like eBay and Facebook and Amazon, all those places, you'll be able to find a place to sell it if you use some of your entrepreneurial skills and get rid of that merchandise or unload that merchandise. There'll definitely be an opportunity. So feel bad for people who have the Redskins merchandise. They're unfairly being left out in the cold on this, in my opinion, but wanted to let you guys know just in case you are selling any Washington Redskins merchandise. All right, so this next piece of news found on PC Magazine. Amazon decides sellers must publicly display their name and address. So this is huge news for sellers in the US. This was already the case in the UK. So if you're in the UK and other international places, this was already the case. But Amazon.com sellers, if you click to a seller's profile, it would have like their phone number there if they entered it, the name of their business, and that's really it. You couldn't see any other information. But now with this change, they are going to start displaying your business address as well. Or if you're not a business, your personal address. And this is going to be beginning September 1st, 2020. And just to read the beginning here, it says, Amazon really wants its customers to have confidence the products they are buying are legitimate, especially when they choose to purchase from a third-party seller. So from September, Amazon is assisting sellers publicly list their name and address. As GeekWire reports, such details are already listed on Amazon across Europe, as well as Mexico and Japan. The change in September extends the policy to Amazon.com, so U.S. consumers can always view seller details too. Amazon informed third-party sellers about the new policy by way of a letter, which explains, beginning on September 1st, 2020, we will display a seller's business name and address on their Amazon.com seller profile page. For individuals, we will display the individual name and address. So big news for sure. Being anonymous on Amazon is definitely going to be going away. Now, we were never completely anonymous. There was ways to find the address. If you've ever gotten a letter by Voorhees for selling a product and that brand wanted you to go away, they might hire Voorhees, and Voorhees would find your address and send you this nice legal letter telling you how horrible of a human being you are and that you need to get their stuff off of Amazon. The legality of those letters are definitely in question, but the way they were finding that information, I don't know for sure, but they had ways to find that information and send you those letters. So there was ways to find your address and stuff before, but now the address that you have entered in Seller Central is going to just be displayed publicly for everyone. I think in the long run, this will be a positive thing because it's going to make it harder for those bad sellers that are out there from being anonymous and maybe legitimately doing things that they shouldn't be doing, like selling products that they are not authorized to sell, or there's some legitimate reason that they shouldn't be selling those products. From the Facebook groups that I'm on and talking with people, a lot of people are super concerned about this because it could open them up to get more letters from Voorhees, or maybe people sending fake legal letters to try to get them to take down products on Amazon. I could definitely see that happening, right? The black hat sellers, the horrible sellers that are out there, hopefully you're not one of them, trying to scam people, pretending to be legal companies and asking them to take down products. So for me, this is basically going to make me a lot more skeptical of any information that I get from someone pretending to be a brand or a law agency. If it's not coming in like certified mail or something like that, and I can look up that legal organization, call them on the phone, ask them about the letter, I'm basically just going to be throwing it in the trash and ignoring it. So, you know, there's definitely a lot to be worried about too, especially if you have your home address on there. You're going to have that address is going to now be public for your business. And, you know, there's a lot of crazy people out there. You never know. They get some product that they didn't like from you and something happens. They're going to potentially take it out on you. So it could open us up for that as well. So what a lot of people have been talking about doing is if you don't have a business address, that's not your home address, you can get like a P.O. box, or there are companies out there that will sell you a business address for $100 a month. UPS, you can get boxes there as well that have a regular address rather than a P.O. box. Things like that, to put that as your business address. And that way, that is what will be displayed on Amazon instead of your home address. Or if you don't want them to know like the address to your warehouse or something like that, you can do that as well. One of the things I use is a company called Post Scan Mail. And so I get a post mail box from them. So that's my billing address. And that is what will be displayed on Amazon for that address. So there's different things that you can do to still hide yourself and make it so that people are not having your direct home address if that's what you currently have on there. So definitely big news. And if you're worried about that at all, you're going to want to look into more of those solutions that can keep people from being able to see your home address. And you're going to need to do that before September 1st before that change is made. Let me know down in the comments what you think about that story as well. If you're listening to this on podcast, head on over to our Facebook group, entrepreneuradventure.com/Facebook, and you can leave your comments there and let me know what you think on that story. All right, so this next one is not so much news, but it's actually a petition over there on change.org. And this one is Amazon FBA should allow sellers to opt out of returns being reshipped to new customers. And basically what it says here is Amazon's third-party sellers are the heartbeat of Amazon, providing 58% of products to customers. As is well known, Amazon holds sellers to an extreme level of excellence, demanding near perfect execution, delivering new products in time with outstanding customer service. This is what makes Amazon so trusted. This should continue, and it is why I love shopping on Amazon. It also forces sellers to always aim higher and do better. There is one scenario, however, that is hurting Amazon, the sellers and buyers, that has been irking the FBA sellers community for decades. If it's shipped from FBA and the customer refuses or returns it, the item is placed back into saleable and resent back to the next buyer. So what's wrong with Amazon resending new products to buyers? Some shady buyers, especially in the high-end sunglasses market, switch out a counterfeit pair with the real one, and the next buyer gets a counterfeit or used pair. The second buyer then complains the item was fake or used, and the seller gets suspended because Amazon's strict policy against selling counterfeit or non-pristine products. So I definitely agree with this, and that's why I'm bringing it up. It's definitely an issue. My wife and I actually just had this recently where we were buying an espresso machine, and we ordered 3 times from Amazon, and every time the box that we got was not completely sealed, and when we opened it up, the machine had water inside of it. So we had to return it all 3 times. We ended up going and buying it from Bed Bath & Beyond. Finally got one that was completely sealed, and it was fine. So this is definitely a big issue for sellers and for buyers. I had this issue as a buyer. I've had this issue as a seller as well, where people, they want to get the free return shipping. So instead of telling the truth, they just say, oh, it wasn't as described or something like that, or wasn't new. So they return it, and they're just trying to get free shipping. They're not doing anything malicious technically, but Amazon puts a strike against us, and that is just wrong. So not sending back stuff that has been returned, being able to give them the option to return that to us so we can inspect it, because Amazon's employees do not do a very good job at expecting this stuff. They don't know what they're looking for, and they don't have any real big reason to do a really good, thorough inspection of a product. When I get returns back to me, I most of the time just sell them like used like new, or used very good, or something like that, almost regardless, especially if it's been opened, because then you're not having to worry about getting that strike against you, and the customer knows what they're getting. So I have already signed this petition. I would recommend you guys do as well. I'll put that link in the show notes, entrepreneuradventure.com/32, so you can sign that petition as well. I would really appreciate it. As of the recording of this, there's 602 people have signed, and let's get to 1,000, it says. So I've already signed. Hopefully you will as well. I'll actually make a short link so you can get to this. So entrepreneuradventure.com/returns will take you right to this petition, and you can sign it if you like. All right, next up, this is from GameSpot.com. Walmart set to launch a competing service to Amazon Prime. It says the U.S. retail giant will soon announce a new program called Walmart Plus, according to a report. Watch out, Amazon. Walmart is preparing to announce a new membership program of its own that will compete with Amazon Prime. This is according to a report from Recode, which states that Walmart's subscription, Walmart Plus, will cost $98 US a year, include a lot of perks. These include same-day delivery and discounts on gas at Walmart's fueling stations. Subscribers will also get early access to deals. Sources told the site, along with some kind of video entertainment, Walmart sold its streaming service Vudu in April 2020. Walmart Plus will formally launch later this month, and according to the report, the retailer originally planned to announce it in late March or April, but the company pushed its unveiling back due to the COVID-19 crisis, the report said. So this is huge news. More competition for Amazon. As I said previously in Amazon News, when someone was mentioning that they thought Alibaba was the bigger competitor to Amazon, I still stand behind Walmart being the biggest competitor. They're putting a lot of money into the online space and competing direct with Amazon. They have the name recognition in the US market, and they are making a big play. So competing directly with Amazon Prime here, it'll be interesting to see how well it takes off. Will people want to pay for another subscription service like this? And will people have both Amazon Prime and Walmart Plus? Or will people switch from Amazon Prime to Walmart Plus? The selection on Walmart does not match Amazon yet. It's getting there. It's getting very good. I am getting more and more interested in listing my products on Walmart for sure with everything that they're doing. And previously we talked about that they're having their Fulfilled by Walmart service as well. So that is huge. Walmart, I should say, is making a huge play. And I'm really interested to see how this goes. Walmart is taking more and more of the e-commerce space and creeping up and competing with Amazon. They're still way behind, so I don't want to make it sound like they are right there or even close. They're still way behind, just like eBay is way behind. But it's awesome to see competition like this. In a capitalist society like we have in the US, we need competition. Amazon right now is the dominating force online. Walmart coming up is just going to help push Amazon to be even better, and that's going to help consumers and help us sellers as well. So I'm really looking forward to this. Glad to see that Walmart keeps making inroads into Amazon's territory. All right, and last but not least, this article is from entrepreneur.com. It says, Amazon pushes Prime Day back to October. For the past 5 years, Prime Day has been held in July, but it looks as though the ongoing pandemic has seen Amazon decide to break with tradition and delay its big sales event by 3 months. As CNBC reports, Amazon has decided that now is not the time to launch a massive sales event online, as it continues to be one of the key suppliers of goods to people stuck at home. An email sent out to third-party sellers confirms that Prime Day won't happen until October 5th. But that's a placeholder date, meaning it could still be moved further back in the year. So we talked about this as well earlier, that Prime was getting pushed back and Amazon was having to clear out of a lot of its inventory that it had stocked up on. So here is more of an official date, October 5th. So that, as of the recording this, is about 3 months out. So that gives us all time to prepare for Amazon Prime, because that day, sales are going to quadruple, if not more, of a lot of your products. So you're going to want to stock up towards the end of September to be prepared for this day. So whatever you're using for your inventory restocking or analysis to know what you need to reorder, you're going to want to add some extra in going into the end of September to be prepared for this. Now, maybe they'll change it. 3 months is a while out, but it gives us time to prepare and be ready. Most likely they're going to try to hit that date. If not, I'll hopefully see the news and I can let you guys know if that is going to change. But it's something we want to be prepared for, so that when it comes, we can have enough inventory in there so you can see that boost. It's pretty awesome to see, like, you know, right now I'm selling around $4,000 to $5,000 per day. And when Prime Day hits, even that week, you're going to go from maybe 5,000 to 10, 15, 20,000 in sales that one day. And then it's going to start dropping off and tail off through that week and go back to normal. Might even dip down a little bit below normal as people move their purchasing to Prime Day. But for the most part, you see a really big boost in sales that day. So you definitely want to be prepared. All right, so that wraps up this week in Amazon news. I appreciate you guys watching. Get the show notes, transcripts, and links to all of these news at entrepreneuradventure.com/32. And if you want to check out my resources as well, I have everything that I use as a seller. So if you're just getting going as a seller or trying to find different software and things like that that you want to use, head on over to entrepreneuradventure.com/resources. And I list all of the software that I use with quick little reviews on them and what I use them for. You can definitely check that out. A lot of those are affiliate links as well. So if you purchase that software through those links, I'll get a small cut of that at no additional cost to you, and it would really be appreciated. So again, Todd Welch with the Entrepreneur Adventure signing off. Happy selling, everybody.
This has been another episode of the Entrepreneur Adventure Podcast. Thanks for listening, fellow entrepreneur, and always remember, success is yours if you take it.